Welcome to our posts. Today we will see stories of r/entitled parents.
My mother thinks she entitled to one of my properties, lol. I haven't seen my since I was 16, and we were in court. So 19 years I haven't had any contact with the mother. She hired a PI to find me and I still refused to talk to her. I even have my lawyer send her a formal letter of no contact and threatened her with a restraining order. She sent this email to me, though my work email. I shorten it, but basically it said, to my name, this is her name, your mother. I thought you would have matured by now and came and apologized to me and your father for what you put us through. Because of you, your father lost his teaching career and we had to sell our house. However, it has come to my knowledge that you own some properties in my area, so it's only right if you give us one of them as an apology. One of my most expensive properties would be a good fit for us. As soon as you hand over the keys to property, we can finally able to start to heal and get past this misunderstanding that you blow out of proportion. I hope you come to the right decision, her name. I just can't stop laughing at this. Like, no B, I'm not giving you anything. This is just another bit of evidence to help me get a restraining order against she. Next story. Bully gropes girl, gets his butt handed to him and entitled parents try to expel the girl. So there's this very small girl, at the time in 8th grade, and her dad is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu instructor. I don't know if that's what you call it, like he has his own school and everything. Dad obviously taught her how to defend herself. One day a bully, male and in 12th grade, is getting a bit weird and starts trying to flirt with her and she's very uncomfortable. Creepy bully persists, is harassing this little girl for at least 5 minutes. He then gropes her and I don't think anyone has ever hit a combo move so quick. This girl has pulled off what has got to be one of the fastest knockouts ever. She kicks him in the groin and follows it with an uppercut which flowed back down into an atomic elbow. This grade 12 guy was out like a light in less than half a second. Anyway, the parents of the bully start trying to take action and get this girl in as much trouble as possible for beating up their son. They called a meeting with the principal and the girl's parents. The principal sided with them and decided that the girl should leave their school. Dad is furious, but the school doesn't budge. Eventually Dad says my daughter is staying at this school and that sicko is leaving. He can either leave quietly and immediately or we can escalate this. We'll sue for sexual assault and come after both the school and the family. The school waived all punishment the girl had been given and expelled the bully on the spot. That dad could not have been prouder of his daughter for knocking out a creep who was literally 3 times her size. Next story. An entitled mother insists that I share my Nintendo Switch with her child on my flight. This just happened the other day, and after sharing this story with friends and family, a few of them suggested that I share it here. The scene is a Southwest airline flight. I was sitting in a window seat next to 2 lovely women, and directly horizontal from us was an empty seat, a mom and her son. The flight was taking off. For those who don't know, you are required to stay seated and keep your seatbelts on for the beginning of the flight until the captain says otherwise. I was strapped in my seat and decided to take out my Nintendo Switch from my carry-on beneath my feet. Excuse me? Ma'am? I didn't realize at first that the mother in the seats horizontal from me was trying to get my attention. She unbuckled her belt and moved to the empty seat by the aisle, closer to me. Ma'am. With the video game. I lifted my head, but the stranger next to me nudged me as well. That lady wants to get your attention, the woman next to me muttered. I turned my head to see this woman leaning across the aisle with her hands on the armrest of the aisle seat in my row. Sorry, she began. I just wanted to know if there was any way that my son could use that game for a little while. I'm so sorry, I began. My Nintendo Switch is just really important to me. I don't feel comfortable giving it to anyone I don't know. I don't even let my sisters play with it. I was going to continue, but the woman cut me off. Oh, my son's not like most kids, she replied. He's not destructive, his cousin has one of those, and he knows how to play. She smiled and set her hand out. The 2 women seated next to me looked at me, as if they were also in disbelief. I'm sorry, I said again. I just don't feel comfortable. I brought it for me. How old are you? The woman said with a huff, retracting her hand and slapping it on her lap. I'm 25, but I don't see how that matters. I replied, growing exceptionally uncomfortable. Well, she began, clearly sounding agitated. My son is 8. This is an hour and 45-minute flight and he just wants something to do. He can't see it for a few minutes? No. I am not comfortable with that, I'm sorry, but I'm expecting you to understand since this is my property. I put my head down and I unpaused my game, as to ignore anything she had further to say. Are you serious? She seemed genuinely livid. Well, insert child's name here, sorry buddy. Not everyone knows how to share, the woman said to the kid next to her. Her child started whining and kicking the seat in front of him. Thanks for this, she said to me. A sweet kid just wants to share with you and you're being ignorant about it. Before I even opened my mouth, one of the ladies in my row snapped back at her. How dare you bring that energy on this plane? She told you so kindly that she doesn't feel comfortable with passing her electronics to a stranger. The mother wasn't having it. She's an adult and can't share with a child for a few minutes of a nearly 2-hour flight? You should have brought something for him to do then, the woman in my row responded. It shut her up good. At the end of the flight, the woman collected her luggage from the overhead bins and said, I hope you're happy going against God's word, not sharing with a child. Some of the people around us giggled. I'm sure that they all overheard the drama at the beginning of the flight. I've come across some entitled people in my life, but this strange lady took the cake. Next story. Entitled mom calls cops after I body slam her son because he hit my autistic brother. Okay, so basically I 16 male took my 10-year-old brother out for the day. Everything was going well until we decided to go get some boba. Now my brother's autism is a bit severe and he tends to just randomly scream here and then. So while we were waiting in line he did just that and scared this kid in front of us who was with his mom. This made him drop his boba. I tried to apologize on my brother's behalf, explained his condition and even offered to pay him for another. The mother though started lashing out and said some seriously F-word stuff like, I don't want your money, you should use it for your brother's therapy and he deserves to be in a mental hospital, all because her kid, who was actually like 14 or 15, got scared and dropped his boba. I was about to leave with my brother in disgust when this guy takes a swing at my brother and hits him in the chest. I wasn't gonna do nothing to that and I swore he was about to take another swing, but before that I grabbed him and slammed him on one of the tables. Then the mom started screaming louder than a WW2 siren and told people around that I just assaulted her son, who apparently had anger issues. When I saw her calling the cops, I just laughed and went to check on my brother, who was crying and yelling in pain, since nobody ever hit him that hard before. I wasn't worried because the place had cameras and witnesses who clearly saw how demented they were. Fast forward a month, she's now facing a $2,000 fine and her son was put back on probation. For that kid's safety, I hope I never see him again. Next story. Apparently, it is not okay for me to eat meat while I'm babysitting my cousin for free. I have an uncle who I'm gonna call Hal. Hal is 2 years younger than me, so we pretty much grew up together. Hal is a good guy, but when it comes to his wife Cindy, the entitled mother in this story, he simply has no backbone. They have a 6-year-old daughter and a 9-year-old son. Almost a year ago, Cindy decided that they were going to go vegan. It wasn't a discussion, it was a declaration, their house was going animal-free. Hal and the kids went along with it, no major protests, though Hal would still eat meat when he was not around her. This summer, they sent their son to camp for 8 weeks. While he's gone, they wanted to take some time and go away for a week by themselves, so they asked me to watch my little cousin for a week. I already have 6 of my own kids living here, so F it, what's one more? Sure, she can stay the week. So, they head off to somewhere in Florida, and I go about my babysitting duties. I understand and respect their dietary choices, and I have been providing my little cousin with 100% vegan meals. But yesterday I posted a picture to Instagram of a black bear steak I made for myself. Well, Cindy calls me flipping out on me for cooking meat while her daughter is under my roof, accusing me of trying to convert her back to a meat eater. She then tells me, not asks me, not to make any more meat until they get back and take their daughter home. I told her that she was being ridiculous, and that while I was happy to feed her child vegan meals, I will not be told what I can and cannot eat in my own home. I'm making chicken fried venison with sausage gravy and biscuits for my girlfriend, kids, and myself for breakfast this morning, and I'm making my little cousin blackberry oatmeal and a just egg omelette. Edit. Just egg is a vegan egg substitute, with peppers, onions, and mushrooms. I'm gonna post a pic of our breakfast to IG and then turn my phone off, because I'm in butthole now.
I hope you guys like this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share, and subscribe the channel our posts.